Welcome, bienvenidos. This is Metamorphosis Rocks. My name is Roxana. Today's vlog 58, and we are going to talk about the Netflix. I don't even know what to call this because it was a one-off. I don't know if it was a movie, a documentary, or what. It's called Casting JonBenet. Now, before I start, I want to let you know that this is not a sponsored video because, hello, I don't have enough subscribers for anybody to pay attention to me, to give me anything for free. However, if Netflix wants me to review all their shows, I'll be more than happy to. And this particular list is going to be called Netflix shows. I have no interest in watching Orange is the New Black. I don't think they need anybody watching that show anyway because they have a ton of fans for that show. And I have never been able to get into it. But I started watching Casting JonBenet because I had seen the clips for it. Actually, here on YouTube, I had seen clips for the show that was coming up, and I was watching with morbid fascination. To be honest with you, I remember the case. I remember when it happened. I remember what everybody was saying. The parents were fault. They were hiding the kid because they thought the son was the one that did it. Then this nut job that had a history of pedophilia decided to say that he was the one. Uh, there were all kinds of suspicions, and at the end, nobody got blamed. Her mother died, so they're not going to arrest her if it's true that she did it. And it just left a really big void because, well, I have a daughter, and my daughter was young when this happened, and all I kept thinking was, if that was my kid, first of all, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have done something crazy like kill myself or something, because my daughter was, my life. She still is, and she's 25. What does that say about me? But, I could not imagine as a mother going through that, to be honest with you. Whether she was covering for her son or not, that's not even part of this. I was really heartbroken for her as a mother. Number one, because I cannot imagine going through it, but number two, because I cannot imagine every time I stand up and say something about it, people judging me like I did it, I didn't do it. And that's why I decided to talk about that show. It is fascinating to me to watch the actors that are trying for the parts of the mother, the father, the cops, etc. Everybody is basing their opinion on their personal story, and they're not even thinking about it. Like one of the actresses, her mother was an alcoholic, and she has now not noticed how much her situation influenced her perception of JonBenet's mom. There was a gentleman who went to sleep with his girlfriend one night and woke up and his girlfriend was dead. That colors how he viewed the whole case and how he viewed the guilt or innocence of the parents. And the reality is, we all are judging it based on our own experience. If you had abusive parents, you probably think they did it. If you have any sort of dynamic between you and your mom when you guys, like, I used to know somebody that her mom used to try to date all her boyfriends because she was young looking and, well, she was a MILF. That wasn't called that back in the day, but she was a MILF. And in fact, I know at least two boyfriends that the mom slept with just to prove the point that she could. She didn't care about her daughter's feelings, obviously. And in fact, her daughter doesn't speak to her as an adult because when her stepfather and her mother divorced, she sided with the stepfather because she knew everything that the mom had done. So in a situation like that where there's some unfinished business between moms and daughters, I'm pretty sure those daughters judge JonBenet's mom as the jealous one because she used to be in pageants and now she's not there anymore. I have no relationship whatsoever with pageants, duh. And I can tell you this. I don't know who did it. I honestly don't. And at this point, it's been a long time. I don't know if we'll ever know who did it. The thing about it is that it is I'm I kind of like consider myself a psychology buff. I love watching shows and reading about different personality disorders and whatnot. And the one thing I can tell you from watching this show is it is amazing how much we based all of our opinions on our own experience. I have wonderful parents, so I cannot imagine my parents doing anything like that. But I also have friends that have parents that were horrible, so I could see how a parent would do something like that. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have your experience, and you would probably base your perception on the parents on your personal experience, and that's the bottom line. When we look at cops doing investigations about killings or district attorneys who go ahead and present a case based on the evidence that they have at the moment, and they are convinced that they have the person, and then it turns out that the person is not guilty because the evidence that they saw one way, the 12 people in the jury box saw a completely different way. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We all based our stuff based on our own experience. What do you think OJ got off when he allegedly killed his ex-wife and Ron Goldman? Because the jury was made of people of a certain class, of a certain age, of a certain economic upbringing, race, etc., and they could not find him guilty. Now, if you've actually watched the show that was done about that particular case, you'll see that they basically did not want to find him guilty because it was high time that the black man did whatever it did. That show is a completely different story because that show angered me so much because I could not believe that that's the reason why he got off. I refuse to believe that's the reason he got off to this day. But when you see documentaries and shows about this, you start thinking, really? That's why he got away with it? I mean, seriously? We're going to punish the system by letting somebody go after they killed somebody? That makes no sense. But going back to JonBenet Ramsey, here's the thing. Again, I don't know who did it. I listened to some of the stuff that has happened and the ransom note and whatnot, and sometimes I think that maybe the boy accidentally hit her sister, and then the parents decided to cover it up by doing all the other stuff. We're never gonna know. All I do know is that with the same fervor that some people say the parents didn't do it, the fact that the mom died of cancer later, a lot of people think that that was a guilty conscience that killed her. So, in my opinion, I am 90% sure that whoever killed her knew her. It was not a stranger off that broke into the house and said something to her. I'm pretty... Now, do I believe all the stories that you hear on the show about the circumstances of the family life and whatnot? Not necessarily. Everybody has a weird family dynamic once the door's closed. That's not abnormal. That's life. Parents argue. Wow, big surprise there. Kids get on your nerves. And that's one of the things that I found the most interesting. There was one of the mothers that was actually, she was trying for the part of the mom. And she said it very well. I put myself in her position. I remember when my kid started potty training, and she goes into this whole explanation about what happened when her kid decided to start potty training and how angry she got. And that made me think of when my daughter was a little kid and how she would do stuff that would drive me absolutely bonkers. And at the end of the day, sometimes, no matter how good you are as a parent, every once in a while, they will get on your nerves. Even if they're your kids and you love them to death, they will get on your nerves. Now, will they get on your nerves enough for you to hit them hard enough for them to get hurt? Not necessarily. Or maybe you do. That depends on you. I remember I would tell my daughter to come with her hand like this, and I would smack her hand. And the reason why I would do that is because the sound, it would just make her scream like a crazy person. It wouldn't even hurt, but the sound of the smack, it was enough for her to feel like she had just done the biggest crime in history. So I really didn't have to beat up my kid or spank my kid or do anything. And I can count probably with both hands and leave some digits running how many times I had to do that. Because as soon as she heard that sound, she wouldn't do it again. On the other hand, I know people, and one of them, I saw the case in back in Puerto Rico where the person ended up in jail, where the mom, for some reason, I really don't know why, decided that since the kid kept touching stuff in the kitchen, you want to get burned? And she put the kid's hand in the stove burner and burned the kid's hand. And I'm sitting there like, what the heck? Ugh, that just drives me crazy. But people, when they're upset, they do some stuff that maybe when they're not upset, they wouldn't think they would do. My suggestion to you is count to 10. But could that have been what happened in JonBenet's case? I don't know. All I can tell you is she's a beautiful little girl that is no longer with us. Her mother's no longer with us. And her father, unless he had something to do with it, her father and her brother don't know what happened. And as interesting as it is to watch all the perspectives of all the people that are involved in the case, the one thing that I was left with after watching this show is the reminder that we have no idea what happened to that little girl. And we probably never will. And I'm going to leave you with that. So thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.